Fantasy audience, you have reached another episode of Fantasy Football Come True Outtake. This is the part of the show where Ron Fun and B Foster tell you exactly who their lineups are and why. This is where the metal meets the road. And here are the two stars of our show, Ron Fun, B Foster. Guys, I'll let you decide who wants to go first as we hit this Fantasy Football Outtake.
B, we cut you short last week. I need you to go first this week, man.
Okay, no problem. We'll get it done real quick, man. So if you listen to the show, man, Ron Fun told you about a defense that stinks that we'd like to try to attack, man, and that's those Houston Texans, man. They got a coaching change, but that doesn't scare us at all, man. And this week they're going against James Robinson, man. And the Texans in week one, they gave over 100 yards to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Week two, they gave up a bunch of rushing yards to the Ravens. You know, they spread it out a little bit. But as a total, a bunch of those guys went over 100. Steelers, Eric Connor went over 100. And last week, Dalvin Cook ran wild on them. So this week, I'm going right back to that well. Again, if it's not broke, we're not trying to fix it, guys. James Robinson, 6,700s from the Jags against those Texans. Lock them in your lineup. Again, told you on the show about Eric Ebron. I'm staying with that, man. I love Ebron this week against the Eagles. Again, Eagles gave up 15 catches, 183 yards to George Kittle. I understand George Kittle's a beast, but 15 catches for 183 yards is insane, guys. They even gave up in week one against my Washington football team. Logan Thomas caught a touchdown from against the Eagles, and we know he struggled, and Dwayne Haskins has struggled. He's at the bench now. But anyway, Eric Ebron, if he could give me a third of what George Kittle did on Sunday night, I'm boosted. Eric Ebron at $4,000, absolute steal against the Eagles for the Steelers there. My last one, let's see. So I give you a running back and give you a tight end. So I'll give you a wide receiver. I am going right back to those Cowboys that we talked about, man. I told you on the show again, but I gotta reemphasize Darius Slayton. The Cowboys are giving up points to the wide receiver position. They can't stop anybody, and they can score. They can score, and we love to see that. And Danny Dimes hasn't been putting it together this year, but hey, if it's a get right game, the Cowboys are his get right game, and his number one target is Darius Slayton, 4,800. Darius Slayton gonna give you over 100 and a touchdown this week. Mark it down, lock it in at 4,800. Darius Slayton.
B, before we come to me, man, I gotta ask you what you gonna do at quarterback? Are you gonna pay down this week at quarterback, or are you gonna pay up?
That's a good question, man. I like Danny Dimes at 5,400. I think he's a great value. Again, I think people may be skeptical of going there this week because he hasn't performed. But again, he's played the Steelers, he's played the Rams, he's played a couple more really good defenses. Can't think of them at the moment. So I like Danny Dimes. I like, again, we talked about the Carolina-Atlanta game. Matt Ryan is a lock for 300 yards. I mean, it's just a given. He didn't play well Monday night, but the Packers defense is a little better than the Panthers, a lot better than the Panthers. So that doesn't make me shy away from him. He's at home. Again, we get a 50-point total. I like Matt Ryan. I like Teddy Bridgewater. So I can go anywhere. And then you got you guys at the top, man. I love Dak. I did love Josh Allen, but I don't know if they played it. I don't know if they're gonna play this week due to COVID reasons. Against Tennessee, who's been giving up points like crazy. But Dak is always an option. Probably not going all the way to Lamar. Been on the injury report this week with a knee and was sick today. I think he's a great tournament play because everybody's afraid of that. I don't think he's really injured. Everything I'm hearing is extreme precaution there. So yeah, man, I got guys at the top level I like, the mid level, and at the bottom, man. Okay. I'm not playing Kyle Allen though. I am not playing. He's only 4,100. It's tempting. He's only 4,100, and I'm a football team fan. But I don't really like the way they did Haskins. But outside of that, I don't think Allen is a good play. either way against the Rams, so I won't go there. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, good deal. Ron Fun, who you got on your fantasy this week?
Oh man, this week the reason I'm wearing a Antonio Brown jersey is because there's a lot of players that I like that are in my player pool, but I'm struggling to actually put my final team together. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm struggling with it. But what I'm gonna do is I might actually use some optimizers this week. So for those at home, you know, just getting into optimizers, maybe you should look at them. I'm going to look at them a little bit more carefully than I've ever looked at them this week. For cash, I'm probably going to have a couple cash lineups, and I'm probably going to diversify this week because I just haven't been able to put the team together. But again, my key guy this week is Robbie Anderson. You know, last week he gave you 11 targets, 8 catches, 99 yards. Week before he gave you 5 targets, 5 catches, 55 yards. And he playing the Atlanta Falcons, man. I know I'm a Carolina boy. It feels like a biased answer to say Robbie Anderson. But, yo, the Panthers traded for Robbie Anderson. They paying that man some money. Robbie Anderson, man. Put him in your lineup this week. I'm going back to the well again for another guy. I told you probably 3 weeks in a row. I'm going to Boyd at $6,200. He's averaging 7 catches, 80 yards a game. That's 15 points. I mean, that ain't a full 3X on $6,200, but it's almost. And I know his floor is really high. Like, you know, Joe Burrow is doing better and better, and I think they actually got a decent matchup this week. Where I think Boyd could actually get paid. The issue with Boyd though is the fact that Mixon is getting the goal line work, and so maybe they don't necessarily need to throw touchdowns to Boyd. But I still think 7 catches, 80 yards, 15 points, put them in your lineup, get those easy 15 points.
I'm gonna kick it back to you. I'm gonna ask you a question.
What's up?
So you're not afraid of the Baltimore defense at all?
Man, not really. You're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to put up points. You're gonna have to pass the ball. They got Joe Burrow, man. I mean, he's in the top.
Impressive. He's been impressive.
Top 10 already. He's one of the top 10 passing quarterbacks in the league this year in terms of yards. Now I can't. He might not get wins and losses, but in terms of production, top 10 rookie. Okay.
Right. He ain't scared out there. He coming to play. They not gonna overwhelm him. You know, he's not a deer in headlights out there.
No,
you know?
Not at all. And if anything, he gonna have to pass the ball. He
Right.
gonna have to pass. But at $6,200, I can't really trip on that price point for me. I don't pay up for these guys, especially if I can find some receivers that I like that are gonna be easy locks. Give me the cheap guys that I can lock in 15 points with. That might end up getting a touchdown and get me to 20 or 25. You know, I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then finally, man, I'm gonna end it with Gibson. This is really why I'm probably crazy. I'm gonna go with Gibson at 5,000. He has Kyle Allen as his quarterback. First week starting for the Washington football team. And Kyle Allen is a check down maniac if you ever watched him play for the Carolina Panthers. And so last week, Gibson had 5 targets, 4 catches for 82 yards. I feel like, you know, I haven't really watched the Redskins play or the Washington football team play that much this year, but I feel like there's more production going towards the running backs this week in the passing game. And give me a pass catching running back. Give me an offense where the offensive coordinator likes the check down Charlies. You know, that's.
So you know me, I've watched every single second of the Washington football team's terrible season this year, and it's been a tough watch. They working on losing me here real fast. But Gibson has scored 3 weeks in a row, which is promising. His snap count and touch count has increased every week. So Scott Turner, the OC, talked about the first week they were trying to get his feet wet, get him used to the NFL, the speed up and everything. And every week you've seen that they've slowly upped his role. And I think that will continue even this week. So, if that's worth anything, that's from a Washington football fan. I don't have a lot of confidence in my organization as a whole. I don't have a lot of confidence in scoring points against the Rams, but I do think that Antonio Gibson should get anywhere between 15 and 20 touches this week. And at 5K, that's a pretty good value.
And again, listeners, we're not trying to hit you with the home run guy. We're trying to help you with players at good price points that allow you to pay up for somebody that you really like, that lowers the chance that that person fails at that position. Gibson at 5,000, Boyd or Robbie Anderson at 5,900. You can't really lose at these positions, and that saves you money to be able to create value or to pay up for somebody else elsewhere that the market makes you pay up more money for. So that's really how you play fantasy football and win. You can't pay up for the horses at every position and expect to win. You actually got to find some value guys that create space for you.
That's true. That's good advice to our fantasy audience out there. And thank you guys for that fantasy outtake. And of course, audience, you've just heard B. Foster, Ron Fun, who they've got. They've got Robbie Anderson. They've got Boyd out of Cincinnati. They got Gibson. They got James Robinson. They got Eric Ebron. They got Darius Slayton. So, hey, those are some picks that they gave you. Let's take a look at them. Let's see how the guys do this week. And again, this has been another fantasy outtake on behalf of B. Foster, Ron Fun. Thank you so much for tuning in to this fantasy football outtake going into week 5. Please catch us on Tobacco Road Radio, where you can catch the regular show every Saturday morning right here at 9:30 a.m. We look forward to hearing you. We look forward to seeing you. And we look forward to interacting with you, fantasy audience. Again, this has been another fantasy football outtake.